Windows K2 is here. By the way, K2 is the second largest mountain on Earth, and Microsoft's naming choice for their ongoing initiative to de-enshittify Windows is on point, because the largest mountain counterpart to Windows is Linux. But will Windows 11 finally be fixed? Their timeline seems to be 2 years, and they seem to have a newfound motivation to actually work on improving the Windows experience for all users. There are a few promising things here that are gonna spark at least a little bit of hope in this forsaken operating system. So without further ado, let's get into it. Microsoft announced that it will be reducing the number of places where Copilot appears throughout the operating system, starting with Notepad, Photos, Snipping Tool, and Widgets. Nobody asked for Copilot in those apps, but hey, less Copilot is always a good thing, right? The File Explorer is set to gain some major performance improvements, speeding up file navigation and processing, and improving the speed of search within the File Explorer app, with capabilities such as instant file name search. Microsoft views a paid third-party app called FilePilot as the benchmark for these upcoming improvements. I've always had terrible experiences searching for files with the File Explorer. Now, gamers like myself would like their operating system to be slim, with features that do not compromise on performance. And Microsoft now views SteamOS as the benchmark. SteamOS contains Proton, which is a compatibility layer for running Windows games underneath Linux, and they view that as the benchmark. I mean, the performance on SteamOS is much better, so in that case, this is good news for gamers. The run command window is getting a time to show frame time that is slower than Silent Hill 2 Remake on high settings. It's 94 milliseconds medium time to show, which means half of the time you will launch run, it will be slower than 94 milliseconds just to show up. Modern AAA video games have faster frame times than that, and they're running on massive engines and on top of Windows 11, so it's just laughable that a simple operating system window will take longer than modern 3D graphics to render. This brings us to a detail that is highly important when it comes to performance in Windows. Multiple apps and features on Windows are not rendered natively, but instead through WebView, which in simple terms opens the application inside an invisible Chromium-based web browser. This significantly decreases performance and increases bloat. Now, it's not exactly the same as opening Google Chrome, but it's still bad for resources. Windows are transitioning back to more native rendering using their Windows UI framework, so if over the years you felt that applications are getting slower, especially on low-end hardware, then WebView is to blame for some of that. But surprisingly, the Windows App Store is not a WebView application, and it's still slow, which probably means they're normalizing performance across the entire operating system, so that it performs equally terrible, I guess. They will also focus more on debloating Windows 11 so that it doesn't consume too many resources while idle, and also on reducing the overall footprint of the operating system so that it runs better on low-end hardware as well as smoother on high-end systems, and with more consistent performance under load. Updates are going to require less reboots, with a goal of 1 reboot a month by bundling driver, firmware, and other product updates into a single one. Additionally, the user will be able to pause updates indefinitely, but will still have to reschedule each time, which is annoying. There will also be a separate button in the power menu for updating then rebooting or turning off, which is good news, because I hate that Windows sometimes forces me to update before shutting down my computer. There will be more descriptive driver updates as well, so that you know which hardware you're installing which drivers to. They will add the ability to skip out-of-the-box updates during the initial installation of Windows 11. Smarter recovery features when updates fail, instead of requiring the user to manually download a patch from the Microsoft Update catalog. So, it seems they're finally feeling the pain from the competition. Will they deliver? I don't know, but at least we're getting some good news for once. Thanks for watching, see you next time.